Heyo everyone! Today I wanted to talk about the top 10 characters that I find to be the most fun. Now obviously this is going to be a completely subjective list, with the possible exception of the number 1 spot. So when you stick around to the end, as I talk about Amber, spoiler alert, it's absolutely perfectly fine for you to disagree with me. And be wrong in the process. Sarcasm, by the way. So of course, what makes a character fun in Genshin? Well, everything. It's not just damage output, folks. It's not just the utility and supportive capabilities, folks. I find a lot of special mechanics to be very fun. I also really enjoy a character's lore, so if their lore is rich in some way, shape or form, that also makes them quite fun to use. Of course, their personality plays a role, and most certainly, the way they look, their aesthetic, absolutely fits into why I would find that character interesting to play. I also don't have every single character, nor do I have every single constellation for the characters that I actually have. For example, I don't have C6 Lisa yet. God damn it! Some characters I just didn't have any interest in. For example, Ayaka, Kazuha, Venti, and Ito. And then some characters I just simply couldn't even get. I tried for Hu Tao, I tried for Ganyu, they didn't show up. This naturally factors into how fun they are, in the sense that it's just not fun at all, trying to get a character that you want, and failing miserably without spending another $100. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the list. Number 10. For number 10, I'm putting in Yanfei. Yanfei is a Pyromain DPS character who is super smooth to play. Essentially, the idea is to get a bunch of stacks and then drop a charge attack that does a lot of damage. Now, I happen to have C6 Yanfei, and that is absolutely contributing to how fun she is. With C6, when you use her ultimate, she basically becomes a machine gun that just keeps popping off for the entire duration of her ultimate. 2 basic attacks providing 2 stacks, whilst her ultimate providing another 2, then you use her charge attack on 4 stacks, which does a pretty sizable amount of damage. Obviously, pairing her up with someone like Xingqiu helps a lot, but I actually really enjoy using her with Rosaria, who is actually further up the list. 40k on her ult, then 40k on her charge attack, both with melts. Somehow this times perfectly with Rosaria's cryo application from her ultimate. This is honestly one of the most satisfying quick combos in the game for me. And thus, that is why I have put Yanfei as number 10. Number 9. For number 9, I'm putting in Noelle. Noelle is an incredible character. See, one thing I always appreciate a lot more than I think most other people are characters that can essentially do everything. And frankly, Noelle is one such character. This chick is a tank. This chick has a really powerful shield, especially if you build for defense. This chick is a healer. This chick is capable of healing your entire team simultaneously, as long as you attack enemies while your shield is active, which basically means as long as you actually use her in an active manner. And the ability to heal your entire team, honestly, is something that I put a huge amount of importance on. It's basically why I find Jean to be probably the strongest healer in the game, not Benny. She can also mine rocks with her claymore, and if you happen to have C6 like I have C6, well, she does a significant amount of damage. The only flaw I see in her, the only flaw that really matters, is her energy cost and regeneration, in the sense that she does have a high energy cost, and she herself has next to no energy regeneration. Just popping the shield doesn't exactly give you a whole lot of particles, does it, folks? Frankly, if they gave her good energy regeneration, she would actually be, in my opinion, way too overpowered, because then she'd be able to just do everything in one go. She would effectively be a one-woman wrecking ball. A one-woman army, if you will. But still, I find her to be a very incredible character, and definitely someone that I have a lot of interest playing all the damn time, and that is why she's sitting in my number 9 slot. Number 8. For number 8, I'm putting in Zhongli. Most people know Zhongli as a great big shield. In fact, he is of course the strongest shield in the game. But to me, what definitely makes him a lot more fun is his meteor. See, I don't really care if it takes a couple of seconds to drop his meteor. Obviously this is considered an issue when you're going through Spiral Abyss. And of course at that point every second matters. But to me, god damn it, I will have order and I will drop a meteor. I am playing the Geo Archon, and if I have access to an apocalyptic event, you goddamn right, I am going to be using that apocalyptic event whenever possible. And let's not forget, his shield brings along some elemental resistance shredding, which means that he also buffs his team. This bumps him up in the fun factor as well, and it does make him a sort of almost universal character. There are some people who yell and scream about C6 Zhongli, but naturally because I have only C0 Zhongli, I haven't spent that much money in the game. This is not an issue for me. Also, Zhongli looks fantastic. He has, in my opinion, the best male fashion in the game. His suit is so good. And if I am able to get that suit in real life, I would spend pretty decent money on that suit. So if anyone knows where I can get that suit, that would be great. But otherwise, this is why he is sitting at number 8. Number 7. For number 7, I'm adding in Tatalia. And the reason why he's super fun to play can basically be summarized in 2 words. Quadratic scaling. Tart is one of those characters where a good use of grouping, potentially freezing, and also some really good positioning of Tart himself results in just a ton of numbers on the screen. It's actually kind of insane how many numbers you can get on the screen. And, you know, sometimes just seeing not necessarily high numbers, but tons and tons and tons of numbers is an extremely satisfying thought. A quick and rough version of this can basically be achieved quite easily in my opinion with Fiona, Rosaria, and of course the Venedescent Hunt weapon. Ironically enough, I do prefer using a quote-unquote weaker, if you want, weapon compared to say Skyharp, because it does allow me to group enemies just with Tatalia himself. That way I get to really drop in that quadratic scaling and just have tons of numbers show up. Basically, when you have an ability that can explode and cause other explosions, you are dealing with what the Warframe community may remember as Shield Polarize. This was an ability from a long time ago, where if you're going up against a single enemy, you don't really do a whole lot of damage. It's not that impressive. But when you're going up against a group of enemies that are sufficiently close enough to each other, well, at that point you're basically wiping entire rooms. I also quite like his bow ultimate. It's nice and cheap, and you know, I'm a bit of an archery fetishist, so that's why I've placed him at number 7. Number 6. For number 6, I've got to put in Rosaria. 99% of y'all watching this video are going to vehemently disagree with me, but Rosaria is the best support in the game. And I do mean actual support in the game. With the Noblest set, you have someone who's not only increasing your attack stat through Noblest, but here's the best part, you're also increasing your crit rate. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, crit rate is always welcome for me. I really like how cheap Rosaria's ult is for something that is that bloody strong, and how low her cooldown on her special is as well. Her special ability also makes her incredibly mobile, especially because she can just dart all over the map due to that particular special. The idea of teleporting behind someone saying, "Hey, nothing personnel, kid." I like that. I like that a lot. I normally play her on a supporting quick swap role, but it's absolutely perfectly possible to play her as a rather hard-hitting main DPS role. As a physical DPS, in fact. Her combos are actually very smooth, and her charge attacks are in fact some of the highest scaling charge attacks for polearm users. But that's before you start factoring other random things. For example, Hu Tao's entire kit, I guess. Now I happen to have Rosaria at C6, which in turn makes her an incredible buffing character for someone like Eula. But, you know, before I even got C6, the fact that this super mobile character can buff my crit rate with the use of her ultimate, that basically seals the deal as my number 6 most fun character in the game. Number 5. Those who follow my channel will be completely unsurprised by this, but for everyone else, hey, what's up? My number 5 is gonna be Aloy. Who? Aloy. The crossover character from Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. And that is exactly why she's my number 5. Aloy has a very special place in my Genshin experience because of the fact that she's a crossover character from a game franchise that is really fun and I'm absolutely loving and enjoying. And it's not just that, she's not even a boring character. You've got a cheap ultimate, you've got a stacking mechanic, you've got a desire to bait enemies into bombs if you really want to go that far, or you could just use someone like Jean to suck those bombs into enemies, and then you have the Ice Rush mechanic. The Ice Rush mechanic for a whopping 10 seconds makes her the closest we have to a Cryo Catalyst user. At least a ranged Cryo Catalyst user. A lot of people will of course say that, hey, Ayaka exists, but she's a sword user. There's definitely a variety of ways to use Aloy, and the way I'm gravitating towards right now is to use Aloy as kind of like a mage, focusing on her grenade, then her ultimate, but timing Ice Rush to be at its peak before quick swapping back to her to do a meaty burst of damage. That being said, I am always up for a bit of good old-fashioned Ice Rush auto-attacking, whether it be a way to do a bit of cryo damage so that someone like Xiangling can also put some melts in as well. And then there's the admiration that I get from a lot of other players in co-op domains, who are not only surprised, but seem to be excited that an Aloy main has actually shown up to fight whoever the big boss is behind the door. Yeah, we may be few and far between, but we are mighty indeed. There's a particular video I want to shout out. It's a video of someone who was getting flamed actually for using Aloy, but then proceeded to use Aloy to carry the entire team because the person who was flaming them actually died inside a co-op domain. Pretty hilarious video if you ask me. Not to mention how many times that I as well have ended up carrying a domain, because other players with quote-unquote meta characters, you know, your D-Lukes, your Bettys, etc, they end up dying within the first half minute for some reason in a co-op domain. That's why she's sitting at number 5. I do want to say though, and this is something I feel like I need to say with every Genshin video that I make that features Aloy in some way, shape or form, I'm absolutely compelled to continue asking, goddammit Hoyoverse, when are we going to get Aloy constellations? When are we going to get an Aloy story quest? Come on Hoyoverse! Come on. Number 4. For number 4, I'm including Ningguang. Ningguang has some of the best cinematic cutscenes in the game, and they both involve her Jade Chamber. It's incredible to me that the Jade Chamber is now, spoilers, a permanent fixture of the game, and it is truly an impressive building to just hang out in. I really like the Jade Chamber. On top of that, Ningguang has one of the sexiest outfits in the game, hands down. Her nightgown outfit that you could get for free during the second Light and Right event. Oh, what an incredible outfit that is. Out of all of the hangout quests that are currently available, I actually found hers to be the most interesting, but obviously I may have some pretty incredible bias to that due to being a Ningguang main prior. That's before we get into her gameplay. I love her missile barrage that is her ultimate ability. As someone who also happens to have her at C6, she's easily one of the most impressive characters in the game with one of the most satisfying combo chains. You can chuck down a Jade Gate, which of course also blocks enemy fire, but that in turn produces some energy. You then throw missiles at your target by using her ultimate. Your Jade Gate also proceeds to chuck missiles at that target, hopefully, or a nearby target. You can then use your charge attack to chuck even more rock missiles at your target. And also, depending on which particular animation she ends up using, it could be a super smooth transition from ultimate into charge attack. And then you can chuck another Jade Gate down. So you got a cheap ult, you get 2 specials right from the get-go when you use that ultimate. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Ningguang is one of the best characters to play. But I will say this, there's currently still an issue with Ningguang where her second Jade Gate needs to be placed down on a bit of a delay, otherwise you don't receive any additional energy particles, and this kind of puts a dampener on her overall experience. I'm not a fan of this. I suspect it's a bug. Hopefully Hoyoverse can fix that at some point in the future. Preferably soon. because it is a little bit annoying, not gonna lie. But that is why I have placed Ningguang at number 4. Number 3. Number 3 is going to be the most recent entry on the list, and that's going to be Yae Miko. Now let me start off by saying that whilst there are a lot of complaints that are floating onto the internet about Yae Miko's kit and all that jazz, somehow, I've actually genuinely never experienced any of them. For some reason, my experience with Yae Miko has been nothing short of perfect, so that's where I'm at. Hype bias definitely factors into her high position on this list, as I was pretty much ready to get her as soon as I saw her during the 2.0 livestream. It took 5 whole patches, goddammit, for her to finally be in the game, so naturally I was ready and willing to actually spend a decent chunk of money on her. On top of that, I have her weapon, Kagura's Verity. It's currently the only 5-star event weapon that I have, although I did try to get Polar Star and Red Horn. I failed miserably. I ended up getting a Sky Harp from the Red Horn banner, and I was trying to get Polar Star for Aloy, but that didn't work out at all. So that is also going to be factoring to how much fun she is, in my experience. Of course, her ultimate is also quite incredible. Not only is it a very high damaging ultimate in the sense that it did not take me long to be doing more than 200,000 damage total, which to me is actually exceptionally high, but the little cutscene of her cheekiness immediately before dropping the hammer, oh yeah, easily one of the best ultimate abilities in the game, hands down. And then there are her turrets. The best thing about her turrets isn't how hard they hit, and obviously they do hit very hard, but how mobile she is as a direct result of this particular ability. To be able to dash around the map without any stamina, by the way, just adds so much to how enjoyable she is as a character to play with. I love her look, I love her personality, and her ultimate reflects her personality perfectly. It's so good. I also love her voice. And in particular, I actually really like her English voice. I feel like it fits her a lot better than her Japanese voice. So that's why she's sitting at number 3. Number 2. This is going to surprise everyone, but number 2 is actually going to be Lisa. What? What the fuck? But aren't you supposed to be a Lisa main? Nah, that's it. Thumbs down, unsubscribing, I'm out, bye. Bye. Look, I love Lisa. Lisa is an incredibly underappreciated character owing to how complex her kit is. And absolutely, Lisa has the most mechanics actually working for her. If you have a look at the Kating Main's website, for each character you have an overview page, and then you also have something called the Evidence Vault. And I'm 99% certain that Lisa's Evidence Vault is in fact the largest Evidence Vault to date. And even then, I don't actually remember half the stuff in her Evidence Vault. What I do remember is how snappy and flowing her 5-hit combo is, and how mobile she can be if I just decide to actually rely on her tap special ability for a brief moment because I want to run around. And whilst a major annoyance that came from playing Lisa was how high her energy cost is, at a time when my build didn't actually have any energy recharge at all, this has since been effectively solved with a weapon like the Oathsworn Eye. Of course, I love her look. I love her personality, I love her voice, I love her... I'm sorry, what were we talking about? Oh, right. Thundersoother Lisa has carried my gameplay since day dot. And that's not going to stop, okay? And just like Aloy, there's a genuine satisfaction seeing people shocked and excited when a Lisa main shows up for a co-op domain. It's awesome that we can provide defense ready with our lantern as well, so that's actually very useful. And a lot of energy orbs from our charged special attack. Ironically enough, I'm now using Lisa to be a sufficient battery for Yae Miko, and it's actually quite effective. The way I play Lisa, I tend to provide a lot of sustained damage on top of that, so that's where my 5-hit combo really kicks in. So that's why she's sitting at number 2. Before I talk about number 1, I do want to make a couple of honorary mentions. The first one is going to be Hu Tao. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have Hu Tao. But in the brief moment that I was able to actually play as Hu Tao in the Hu Tao story quest, yeah, she's actually quite fun. Her combos are pretty interesting, but I don't really know a whole lot outside of that because I don't really have that much first-hand experience with Hu Tao. So she's definitely a fun character to play if you happen to have her. And on top of that, Xingqiu's starting to warm up to me. I'm actually starting to find Xingqiu a lot more interesting than I used to. That may be because I got C6. Maybe, maybe not. Definitely the idea of pairing him up with something like a Sacrificial Sword R5, that's definitely making him a lot more interesting to play. He's still not in my top 10, but I do want to give him an honorary mention. Now, let's get into number 1. Number 1. Oh boy, I wonder who's going to be number 1. Let's have a look. Huh? D-Luke? Nah. No. No shot. Nah. Thumbs down. Unsubscribing. I'm out again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hell no, dude. Hell no. For number 1, the most fun character in the game has got to be, probably objectively too, by the way, A, the Raiden Shogun. Yes, the Electro Archon is insanely super fun to play for a variety of reasons. A looks awesome. Her animations are flawless, and frankly, she's one of the few characters in this game that actually feels powerful. This is a character who has a very specific playstyle and absolutely dominates that playstyle perfectly. When she is off-field, she's providing some additional supporting damage for your characters, and then, when she has enough stacks, she pops off harder than just about any other character in the game. There is not a single character in the game who has a specified period of time where they basically go into a full-on rage mode, completely decimating everything that they see in front of them. And such is the power of the Raiden Shogun. If you somehow manage to get C2 Gene as well, and you get some attack speed into A, oh my god, she's actually even more insane. You know, you got damage per screenshots, and you got damage per second, all wrapped up in one ludicrous ultimate ability package.
But wait, there's more!
A is also the best battery character in the game, just hands down. This is owing to how her ultimate ability can restore energy for the entire team. This means that A is not only a super fun character to play, she is also able to, and you might want to write this down, elevate the experience of other characters on her team. Because it's so much more fun to play other characters in the game when you can use their abilities more often, and one of the best ways to do that is to restore so much energy during A's ultimate ability that you can begin the next cycle of ultimate abilities. There are of course a variety of reasons, but I would assume that this is the number 1 reason why the Raiden national team is one of the most popular teams to play both in and out of Spiral Depression. It's a lot of fun to be able to just cycle through ultimates of characters and then just pop off again with A. Hell yeah. I would even say that A is a universal character, just straight up. She works great with Eula, she works great with the Triple Electric Death Squad, she works great with Ningguang and Noelle, definitely with Noelle with the aforementioned energy problems, and she works great with someone like Natalia. Any team that has the Raiden Shogun on it automatically becomes a tier higher in how much fun it is to play that team. And that, my friends, is why the Raiden Shogun A is the number 1 most fun character to play in Genshin Impact. So that's my list. Let me know what all this in the comments below. Which characters do you think are the most fun to play? Let me know in the comments. Obviously you'll have some pretty big differences to my list, but still, pretty interested to see who your top 10 is, or if you don't necessarily have 10, who your top 5 is. Give it a good think. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Genshin Impact action, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!
気をつけます。綺麗にしませんと。Here, emerge, right here. Quiver! Storm the front! Let's spark these up. I swear by my sword! Flash! Right now. Nothing lasts forever. Emerge. Right here.